2016 Domino's DXP with a built-in...
Welcome live here to Checkered Flag Interactive. We're getting ready to go racing here tonight for the CBS 200 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. After another night of iRacing website issues, we are here. We're ready to go, and the field is getting ready to go racing. Big stories in the league and around the community, some good, some not so good. And for tonight's race, just want to make note, Colin Bowden is on the pole, and that's pretty substantial as well, because of course doesn't always run the full schedule here, and he is tonight. And lots of news in the community, but unfortunately the loss of a member as well. Dylan Brockwell has passed today. Lots of drivers out here in the field knew him, maybe not all that well personally, but big name in the community, big name overall, and very unfortunate to lose him. Colin Bowden on the hand, very good friends with him here, so he is looking to bring home the victory for him here tonight.
And you'll see some of those tribute cars. Colin's got one of them. Also some black cars in the field to help, kind of tribute to Dylan here. And we'll see that throughout the night as the pace car pulls off. Colin Bowden, front row with Byron Daly. As the pace car's in, back to green flag we are for the start of the CBS Digital 200.
And green flag is in the air. 133 laps on the board as we dive it off for the first time into the corner here. Look at Colin Bowden on the inside line. They're Byron Daly, the points leader, on the outside. Down the back straightaway. Here we go, 2 by 2 by 2. As we go racing into 3. Bowden's going to pop up to the outside, the arc into the corner here. Alan Cryer follows in right there behind him. Bowden's going to stretch it just a little bit. Oh
big wreck behind. Right away already on the first lap. Problems up there. Brendan Madonia, J.D. Laird, and the whole field spinning behind him. This is several cars caught up on the first lap.
Notable names I'm seeing: Corey Hoover, Ryan Dyson, Michael Finlayson possibly caught some of that. Trevor Roppolo had to go through the grass. Let's take a look at the replay.
Absolutely massive off turn 4. The whole front straightaway cluttered in cars. Some going up and over as J.D. Laird does. Just a whole mess on the front straightaway.
Not even sure what happened here. Going 3 wide. The 23 of J.D. Laird's on the outside. Corey Hoover comes down on the 8 of Brandon Madonia, and that's what gets that kicked off. And yeah, we'll take another look at that before we continue to point fingers, but it really does look like Corey Hoover came up there. Or came down.
These guys maybe not running in packs throughout practice and qualifying tonight. Maybe didn't quite understand the effects. That's a possibility. Maybe it's just over-aggression. These guys trying to get everything they can on a restart, especially the initial start of the race. Corey started just outside the top 5. These guys we're battling right around the top 5, so still relatively toward the front. But something, I guess, happened there with the racing, and unfortunately a big wreck on the front straight. We're going to end a lot of guys' nights and hinder plenty as well.
Yeah, that's a tough one to call, Shane. Looks like possibly a mixture of Corey Hoover came down just a titch there, and then the 33 and Brendan Madonia, the 8, they just kind of met in the middle there. Madonia has that bump off the corner, which really makes your car light. And another thing I'm really noticing right here is look at all the cars blinking. We actually had a couple drivers blink out for almost the entirety of that wreck. Ryan Dyson was one of them, so that could have played a factor in this as well.
Yeah, might go back to some of those server issues we're having here tonight on iRacing, but that doesn't quite amount to the chaos that we just saw there. And already, you would expect at a super speedway for a wreck like that to happen maybe early on, but at a track like Charlotte, that was definitely a surprise.
We're going to catch up real quick with Corey Hoover, driver of the 33. Corey, take us through what happened there coming up off the corner.
I'll be the first to admit I'll full blame for that one. I just watched the replay. It was a bit of netcode, but that's still no excuse for me. I know it was lap 1. I didn't feel like checking up and then causing an even bigger deal, but looks like it was going to happen either way.
Yeah, really, definitely. I saw some of that netcode probably come into play, and so many cars having connection issues. iRacing's been plagued just like all heck lately. How have those connection issues affected you over the past few weeks?
Past few weeks haven't been bad. I mean, this race I've noticed it. I mean, I saw that 8 was down there. I thought I gave enough room. I may have came down a bit. He may have came up, but still, we shouldn't have wrecked like that. I don't know. iRacing's been kind of iffy the past couple of weeks, so still no excuse. I mean, that was my fault.
All right, Corey. Well, looks like the car might be salvageable here. We're about to go back to green. Best of luck here tonight as we get back to green flag. Green flag in the air. We're racing once again.
Strong start by Colin Bowden. He is dominant on that inside lane so far in the first couple of laps. Byron Daly gets clear there from the third spot up to second on Alan Cryer, and he's going to kind of spread out here early in the front part of the pack. Colin goes way low to block, definitely wants that inside lane. It's pretty clear there as Byron looks to the outside.
And then Colin Bowden's on that inside line right now. Byron Daly's going to be one of the first to pop up to the outside. I like the run that he got off that corner there, using as much momentum here down through the tri-oval. He's going to pop back up there. He's going to get the door shut on him going into 1 and 2. Very aggressive racing, it looks like, through the top 5, top 10. So early on.
Yeah, definitely, despite the early wrecks, still plenty of great battles around this racetrack. I got Nick Mass back in park, also Mark Garoppolo back there in the 5th spot here. He started 17th, already up to 5th here in only the 3rd or so green flag lap, so great run for him, and plenty of other guys took advantage of that wreck that are now running toward the front.
Lap led for Colin Bowden here, across the stripes, 7 laps in the book here. Field starting to single file out, spread out here, but look at that. Here comes Byron Daly down the inside line. He's going to try to make a move here down the straightaway. That outside will have the momentum, though, going in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think Colin might be trying to work something on the outside, or perhaps see how his car is up there compared to someone being on his inside. He does have the power off the corner to hold the lead there. We'll have to see how he is back here at 1 and 2, but usually when you come to Charlotte, that inside lane is the dominant place, but that time down the straightaway, hold a ton of ground on Byron Daly.
Yeah, look at the power here down the back straightaway once again, though, coming out of that number 93 of Daly. Like I said, he is the points leader here in the UpperEdge Racing CMC, or not the CMC Sportsman Series, the London Recreational Sportsman Series here. Then taking a look at the upcoming schedule, next week we go to Pocono, then Sonoma and Texas right after that. We're halfway through the season almost, or at least getting very close to it. And we've got a very tight points battle between these top 5. Byron Daly is atop the boards. Corey Hoover's going to have another tough night here. Might drop a couple of positions, but he's 5 points back. Mark Murphy, he's there in that 3rd spot right now. He's in 3rd in the points. J.D. Laird's there. He had a heartbreak early on, so he won't be there. Then Joe Lawrence, again, big year for him so far. He's up there in the top 5. Shane, let's take a look through the top 10 outside these top 5, see what we got going on here. Mark Garoppolo trying to make some moves. Nick Massey, he's there as well. They're battling it out. That's for position, obviously, here 11 laps in. We time it off in the corner. Justin Munsell, he pops his nose in there as well. And that number 44 of Lariah on the outside.
Yeah, right now Nick is the one dropping back at the point. Mark Garoppolo, Chris Wright, last week's All-Star winner, is moving forward. And they are coming to the front in a hurry as Colin Bowden and Byron Daly continue to battle it out to the front. The field is pretty much single file out through the top 5.
And Mark Garoppolo now battles with that 44 of Lariah. Oh, is the 16 of Michael Thompson. He's going to go around into the grass there. That's going to prompt a caution here on lap 133.
Yeah, it looks like a second caution on the speedway. Gonna have to spot where that is. But already some early problems here.
"13 laps into this race, we've already had 2 cautions now. The first one, the majority of resulting from netcode issues here. Colin Bowden's the leader, Byron Daly second, Mark Murphy, Alan Cryer, then Chris Wright, Lariah, Mark Roppolo, Nick Massey, Justin Munsell, and Jamie Haley. That's your top 10. Looking a little bit further, we've got Finlayson, Joseph Tice, Jacob Adams, Hartenfels, Walker Thomas, Ryan Dyson, Bronson Stafford, Chad Coleman, Joe Lawrence, and Michael Thompson. And just a few more drivers here to round out the field. Thomas Story, Trevor Roppolo, Bradley Burke, Madonia, Hoover, and Lynn.
And this caution is going to bring a very interesting point here for these drivers. Already some nice green flag run right there. We're going to see pit stops. Looks like everyone's coming into pit road. The next question is 2 tires going to become a factor here early on, or is 4 tires and fuel pretty much going to be what these guys decide to do? We'll have to wait and see as everyone is in, getting ready to go to their pit stalls and get to the attention of their crews.
And as the field gets their service done here on pit road, they're going to come off of their pit stalls. Lots of blinking still seeing here from a lot of these drivers, but very clean pit stops for the majority of the field here. A couple drivers staying to get some damage repaired. The 23 JD Laird still on pit road from that first caution here.
For the time being, we see the 28 of Ryan Dyson out there staying out. He'll lead a lap, but it looks like he'll bring that machine down pit road, so a bonus point right there for Ryan. But most likely here he'll still go ahead and go to pit road, get the attention to his crew as he actually bypasses pit road there. So that's interesting. We'll have to see if he actually stops at all.
Going to get the 2 to go this time by, and possibly Ryan Dyson's still going to be staying out here unless he ducks down just this time by. So we'll just have to see what he plans on doing, but it looks like it's going to be Colin Bowden second, Mark Murphy third, then Byron Daly, Chris Wright. That'd be your top 5 if Dyson stays out there.
And it looks like Ryan will bring it down pit road. So he'll give up the lead there, hand it back to Colin Bowden, who I would believe is going to elect the inside lane here for this restart. Mark Murphy is the highest he's been all race, in second will be on the outside. And you got the likes of Byron Daly, Chris Wright, and Alan Cryer. All those guys in the top 5 have pretty much been there the entire race. So this is going to be a pretty intense battle for the lead, I would say, here now that we've established a green flag run. These guys have new tires on the cars and really have that confidence they need here to battle for the rest of the night.
This could be an interesting restart because you never know when we're going to get that notorious Charlotte long green flag run. So here as the field heads down the back straightaway, I'm talking to people down on pit road, and one of the common consensus is it's tough to pass here. If you don't get up inside the top 5, the top 6, 7, you really have a hard time making it through the field. Only progress so far before those tires start to wear out and you start to lose that grip. And this plays relatively new surface still, but I tell you what, these tires do heat up very quickly. You lose the ability to be pretty much wherever you want, and eventually you've just got to run where your car will run. But as the pace car pulls on off, the field looks down to Colin Bowden once more, and we're getting ready to go back to green flag race.
There it is, green flag back in the air. A little bit of a stutter step there from Mark Murphy. He gets a little bit of a shunt there from Chris Wright on the outside. Gathers it back up. It'll be neck and neck into turns 1 and 2. Colin with the advantage in that inside lane. Powers to the lead. He's going to bring Byron Daly, who's now the new second place car.
Off of the corner, here we go. Colin Bowden does get single file, does keep that lead here across the stripe. And then Bowden's going side by, or actually not Bowden, excuse me, that's Byron Daly side by side with Murphy up off the corner. That 48's got the outside line. Gonna try to make a stretch down the back straightaway. We'll see what he does off into the 3. Another big dive on the outside line.
Well, these guys continue to battle. Chris Wright is coming in the 4th spot using the outside lane and that oh-so notorious draft down the front straightaway. Really, these Xfinity cars do a great job of using that draft, sucking up to each other, and you can really make some nice passes using the draft. And we'll see if Chris Wright can do anything here as he's up there in 4th. And Mark Murphy looks like he's going to hold on to that 2nd spot using the outside lane, clears Byron Daly, and will set his sights in the lead.
Single file through the top 5. Nick Massey on the outside there, possibly looking to get around Pryor. Pryor's been dropping back here a little bit. That 0-1 after pit stops.
Yeah, Cryer's still relatively where he started. Started 3rd back there in 5th, so he's toward the front. Nick Mass is there in 6th. Michael Laraya pretty much started, or is where he started. And also starting to see Jacob Adams, and we talked about Mark Roppolo making his way toward the front. Jacob Adams as well. Started 15th up into the top 10. One of those rookies here on the 1.5 miles. Going to see if he can prove something there tonight. So far doing a nice job.
Hopping on board with Alan Cryer, getting a good look at the rest of the top 5 right there. That's Chris Wright right in front of him. And he's going to look to the outside, think about it there, but run out of room. So he's just going to have to ride in line. That exactly what I talked about here. Very competitive times through the field. Very tough to pass, especially up here in this top 5. Then jumping up right now to Mark Murphy. He's in 2nd position right now, and he's right there behind that number 89 of Colin Bowden into the corner. Here we go. Will he be able to get up underneath him? You can see Bowden's running the middle to upper lines here through the corner. And that's going to give him this advantage down the straightaway.
Yeah, this is a very interesting situation going on there up front. Colin Bowden is probably the only car I'm seeing consistently on the outside lane in both turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I think Clean Air is definitely helping that car, but he is just holding everyone off. No one's been able to get the run, and he's led pretty much every lap he could, with the exception of Ryan Dyson staying out here tonight. So Colin Bowden got a really strong car, and so far also very good at holding on to that lead.
Side by side, here we go. Laraya and Massey side by side down the back straightaway. Laraya will make the pass on the inside. And now Jacob Adam looks on as the caution flies. Looks like something for Michael Finlayson.
Yeah, it looks like Michael Finlayson has looped it around in turns 1 and 2, and he'll bring out the 3rd caution.
Replay pulled up on your screen here. He just uses it on his own. He's actually pretty much off the track for the majority of this, then does come back up, and that was what prompts the caution. So another caution here on lap 27 of 133 as we're watching these guys, the UpperEdge Racing London Recreational Sportsman Series, the CBS 200 here live on Checkered Flag Interactive. We're going to take a hot second, take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll take you to the green.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
A comm comes over the spectrum with a job. All it says is an amount of cargo, a delicate timetable, and a risky route. You know you've got 42 cubic meters to pack full of profit. We're talking pressurized and shock-resistant construction, so whatever you put in here comes out the same way. You got two Arc Duo 400 engines. Their award-winning colloid ion technology gives you maximum fuel efficiency while keeping your sig low. Across a couple of pirates.
Hey, Lancer, you know the drill.
But with a weapon system featuring trusted names like Bering and Kronik, you aren't too worried.
Commercial vessel, Freelancer class. Rig tags look good. Cleared for landing at Area 18.
You're the one they come to when you need a job done right. Because you trust one ship. Misk Freelancer. Built for life.
Welcome back live here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the CBS 200. We are getting ready for another green flag run here. as the field actually has already come off turn 4 there. A little bit behind. Green flag back in the air. Fields away. Bronson Stafford is on the outside line there in that number 39, battling with Jacob Adams down. For the first time tonight, we have a different leader here. Colin Bowden starting on that second row inside line. He's going to try to look for some space there. Can't really find it into the corner. He's going to stick it down the bottom once more. Follow Jacob Adams there. He's on the inside now of Bronson Stafford. What is he going to go do in the 1 and 2? Probably going to make a big dive here to try and get underneath Adams as well, or at least get around Stafford.
Yeah, just to point out, Jacob Adams, Bronson Stafford came down pit lane, only took 2 right side tires. So they elect track position over left sides, and they are up front now in the top 3. Colin Bowden, one of arguably the fastest cars tonight, up in second, going to have to try and put a move here on Jacob Adams, who's out here in the lead, leading his first laps here at Charlotte here tonight. And it's one of the first lead changes as well out there, so it's going to be very interesting to see how much speed Colin has in traffic, and if anyone else could mount the challenge.
Now he's looking on the back bumper here. Gonna try to dive it underneath when he can't do it.
Actually trying to work a little bit out of the groove there in turns 1 and 2 is Colin Bowden. He wants to go around Jacob Adams on the outside if he can, but for now he's just going to stay put and kind of ride in his tire tracks, try and figure out if he can make him, or at least force him to make a mistake, and then try and pass him on the outside. It's going to be really hard to make a pass on that inside line with all the momentum you get on the higher lane. It seems like everyone else has got that status quo as well, and we are single file pretty much through the first top 10.
There we go, side by side, down across the straightaway here, all the way down to the grass goes Bowden. Jacob Adams on the outside trying to hold him off. He's only on 2 tires, like Shane said, so he can't really do much. 3 wide behind.
Colin makes the pass for the lead, but still 3 wide back here. Bronson Stafford trapped in the middle, hanging on the best he can right now. He's going to go ahead and clear Mark Murphy, and now he's just got 1 car to the outside there. Chris Wright trying to power ahead here for the 3rd spot. They're going to be neck and neck off turn 4. It looks like Chris is going to have it for the time being.
Off again in the 1 and 2. The 39 of Stafford's on the bottom. Byron Daly looks towards the middle there. And don't really know if he's going to be able to find a spot. He won't. He'll just drop in line there down the straightaway. In the 3 and 4. Byron now moves up to the high side. A little bit of contact there between him and Stafford.
Yeah, Bronson might have misjudged that turn a little bit there, but nonetheless, no harm, no foul. Little contact, but he will stay straight. Cars look just fine. I don't really see any damage on either. But Bronson's just dropping back now. He's pinned on that inside lane. He knows the outside's the better place to be, but he's watching everyone just go right around him there. Gonna have to find a place in line, or he could go really far back in this field. Oh, and now contact the grass. Bronson Stafford spinning through the front straightaway. That's going to bring out a caution.
Stafford there isn't going to pick up any damage, it doesn't look like.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job keeping the car off the inside wall. We've seen some pretty hectic accidents there on that inside wall. You slide through the grass, that could end your night right there when you hit that one, but he keeps off of it nonetheless. He will rejoin the race here, maybe some flat tires or so, but nonetheless, no harm, no foul for Bronson. He should be just right back in this.
Just taking a look, he really did a great job locking it down, keeping it up off that inside wall. So Bronson Stafford doing a good job there, minimizing the damage from what could have been very bad for him. So we're back into caution here on lap number 40. Shane, I do believe you're catching up with Bronson Stafford there to take a quick moment to talk about what just happened for him.
Yeah, Bronson, you got a copy?
Yep.
Alright, well, took a chance there, taking just 2 right side tires. Definitely not a bad call if you're looking for track position. Doing pretty good up there. Then you got put 3 wide, kind of just trying to hang on in that inside lane, and then you got loose and unfortunately spun out there. How hectic is the car on 2 tires, and did you think that kind of affected the way there and ended up making you spin out?
It was definitely looser from the drop of green flag there after the restart, so I figured it might not have been too bad, but it got a little bit bad after 3 wide, and just it made me wear tires a bit more. Because I know Jacob did the same thing, but he had the cleaner air and everything, so I think he was able to hold on a bit better. But it wasn't too bad. I mean, coming to the end of the race, I think if you don't do it, you'd be maybe a little dumb, because it definitely will last a few laps. So.
Alright, what we've been seeing out there tonight is that inside lane versus the outside lane. Do you have a preference for which one you're running in right now, and which one do you think is going to really be the key to making it your way toward the front?
I don't know. Honestly, inside line's really good at the get-go, but I don't know. It seems like after 5 or 6 laps, you want that high side in 3 and 4. It's kind of how it always has been here. You just don't give the guy the full exit off of 4, and you really have to slow down. You almost hold the spot, no problem, on the outside. So it really depends how many laps are left, how worn your tires are, and really I think who you're racing, because everyone has a preference.
Definitely, and before we let you go, any shout-outs you want to make on the broadcast real quick?
Yeah, as always, Monster Energy, Home Depot, which we'll have news about things coming up soon with new sponsors and deals. Teammates Justin and Shane was actually here for a little bit, but I think he's got to go back to work or something now. But just Ryan running the league. I've been gone for about a month and a half, but I always come back with open arms kind of thing, so that's always a nice thing.
All right, that's Bronson Stafford. Bronson, thanks for talking with us.
Yep, have fun.
Yeah, very good points made by Bronson, especially about how that outside line can be used pretty effectively to hold people off, because coming up off these corners here, we'll take a look next time we go back green, but all the cars want to go to the same spot, especially off of turn 4. There's that little hill. It's not even a hill. It's hard to explain what it is. It's where the banking on the inside, it just rapidly goes away, and it gets the car really light down into the tri-oval. And it's like every time you come up off that inside line, it just takes you right to the outside wall. And if there's already another car out there, you got to check up, or you're going to run right into them.
It's definitely a unique part of the racetrack, and really just a part of the entire surface of the Charlotte Motor Speedway in general is that turn 4 structure. And if you get your car running well over that little hump they call it in turn 4, you can get some nice momentum down the straightaway, make some passes. But at the same time, as you said, Steve, you can get loose there. We've seen plenty of wrecks, guys have been out there tonight, so really it is a battle of nutrition on which one you want to really pick. You want your car to be good there or not. I know these guys really don't have a choice running the same setup, but when you have to run the same one, you kind of have to find a way to cope with it at one point.
But regardless, the pace car lights are off once more, so that means we're about to go back to green flag racing here.
It's going to be interesting to see what Chris Wright's going to do on that outside lane. It's the first time he's been on the front row here for a restart. Colin Bowden, obviously been the dominant car, going to elect that inside lane. Bronson talking about how the inside's better toward the early portions of the run, and maybe that will give that advantage to Bronson. We'll have to see if we get an even longer green flag run tonight, if that outside lane really comes to life.
There goes the base car down pit lane. Eyes on Colin Bowden here. Green flag back in the air. Here we go, back racing at the CBS 200.
Great start once again from Colin Bowden, but look at Chris Wright. Huge shove from the 84 Walker Thomas. Walker's made his way up to the top 5 at the time being, up there in 4th, making some ground on the outside. Colin dips way down to that white line, now way up to the wall in an effort to block the run.
And here comes the 95 of Massey on the inside. possibly looking to get underneath a boat here.
Yeah, Nick got a great restart. He's all the way down to that inside lane, trying to get Colin a little bit arrow loose, maybe force him up the racetrack, but really no success there as they go back down the back straightaway, and it's going to be a 3-car breakaway from the time being.
Walker Thomas on that outside, falling back. Here comes Alan Cryer trying to move back up. Mark Murphy, though, pops up underneath of him, trying to make that pass as well. So lots of drivers just duking it out right here, trying to find anywhere they can go. Nick Massey putting a lot of pressure right now on Combo.
Yeah, it's interesting just watching him go through turns 1 and 2. He's trying to run as high as he can up on Colin Bowden. He is not glued to that white line at all. He's trying to run as much of the middle as he can, try and get that run that you wouldn't normally, be able to get when you're way down on the white line. So right now he's doing that, using some side draft as well. That's another tool you can use on these cars, is that side draft. And now he dips way down to that white line, trying to take the shortest possible portion around the track, and he'll have the lead for just a little bit as they're neck and neck.
And Bowden will defend for that spot for the time being.
Pretty much spread out here upwards to the front, top 7 or so. Going to be single file. Got to go back to 8th and 9th where Michael Araya is actually battling with Austin Hartenfels there for the 9th spot. That is the first double file car battle we're seeing out there. And plenty of drivers experimenting with lines. Nick Massey jumps way up to the outside, gets a run, and could have the lead because of it. That was an interesting observation just made there. He took the run and took the lead with it there in turns 1 and 2.
Very powerful move there. Will the 89 be able to fight back? Looks like for the time being he's just going to pull up to that back bumper here, put the pressure on. But he's going to fall back real quick, dive off into the corner. Chris Wright wants to make a move too.
Yeah, and anybody else that just saw that move by Nick probably wanted to do the same in turns 3 and 4 from here on out. That was a very powerful move. Using that momentum on the outside groove, it's very powerful when you can get extra speed off the corner and carry that down the entire front straightaway. Use that in the combination of draft, and you are golden for making any pass you need to make. And so far, Chris Wright is trying that outside lane so desperately to get around Colin, and he will be there through turns 3 and 4, but Colin shuts the door for second.
Spot down the back straightaway, trying not only to defend but also make some progress, make a little bit of headway here. That's so hard to do. Let's take a look back for the first time. I do believe we've had a chance on the night. Some drivers we need to talk about. Justin Munsell has been he's maintained now outside the top 5 and 7th right now. Alan Crier's been having handling issues. Oh, we've got smoke out of the 48 sideways through the corner.
Yeah, Mark Murphy gets loose in turns 1 and 2. Just talked about Alan Cryer as well. He smacked the wall in turn 4 there going over that hump. And unfortunately has a ton of right side damage as he'll drop outside the top 10.
And then points leader Byron Daly's been struggling as well. Then number 93 outside the top 10 right now, battling with Joseph Tice and Jacob Adams.
Yeah, both those cars, Byron and Jake, up toward the front in the early portions of this race. And now we're nearing that midpoint, starting to struggle outside the top 10. They're going to have to find some way with strategy, maybe take 2 tires sooner or later, or just find some kind of speed, because right now they are not where they want to be.
And this further justifies the track position comments I made earlier. Very, very tough for some of these drivers to make up positions after they shut it down.
Also, Joe Lawrence, Ryan Dyson, and Bronson for 17th through 19th at the moment. They are a couple seconds off this pack, actually a total of 7 seconds off the lead already. So those guys battling with some wounded cars, and obviously Bronson back there just needs some track position here tonight. We're going to be saying that word a lot, especially toward the end. If you don't have it, your chances of winning tonight are pretty much out the window. And if you're not there, you're going to have to find a way to get there. 2 tires, Bronson Stafford talked about it earlier, could definitely be a key factor later in this race. We're going to have to watch and see if those opportunities open up.
On the front bumper here, taking a look. Colin Bowden and Nick Massey up front. Now Nick's chosen to run that outside line that we saw Colin running. Working pretty well for him still.
And the 2 leaders have distanced themselves about half a second, could be 3/4 of a second now, as Chris Wright and Walker Thomas have a little bit of a moment in turns 1 and 2, almost got together. But nonetheless, they will continue to power on. Also, Mark Roppolo's back there just outside of the top 4 there in the 5th spot, battling hard with these guys. Really don't want to see these front 2 get away here, and if you battle side by side, the guys in front of you, they will walk away. But at the same time here now, a battle for the lead could definitely prompt everyone else to come right back to them. So they're going to try and work around the lap car here, J.D. Laird.
And look at that, back to the lead he goes here. Let's see what he does over the next few laps. And then glancing back, we've got just a cluster of cars there. Chris Wright on the outside. He's going to run out of room 3 wide with J.D. Laird. Almost contact there with that number 8.
There might have been a tap, but if anything, they gather it back up. Nice job by all those guys. Definitely been using the outside lane, and that's usually where the lap cars end up being. So, nice adjustment by Chris Wright through that turn, and he continues to fight strong here for this 3rd spot. But every lap they stay side by side, they lose just that much time to the leaders, as they are now losing their sights.
Yeah, this hard battling does put them back Mars and back just a little bit. But contact there, Walker Thomas, Justin Munsell, they'll both save it.
And just when we were talking about Justin Munsell having a decent night out there, he's now cracked the top 5 in that 23, and he's possibly looking for a chance here to get by Chris Wright, as he's actually up to 4th for the time being. So Justin Munsell doing a great job up there and could perhaps have a better long run car.
Chad Coleman's in the group as well, with Finlayson, the 19 of Adams. Byron Daly got back to the 10th position, but hasn't progressed much further. So we're about halfway right now, and we haven't seen a lot of drivers be able to make a lot of headway.
I think it all connects back to how difficult it really is to pass on old tires here at Charlotte, and these guys, if you're not toward the front, you are struggling to get there and doing everything you can. And if these guys continue, especially for the battle for the 3rd spot right now, if they continue to battle side by side forever, not only will they lose tons of ground to the leaders, they're going to wear out those tires and perhaps could go backwards here to some of the guys who are riding right behind him, who aren't quite racing that much. As Justin Munsell goes around, hard contact with Michael Larea. They're going to spin to the inside, no caution yet.
Yeah, both drivers down off of the track. We'll see if, as long as they stay down off of the surface, no caution. Hard hit, though, for both of them.
And you can add a 3rd disadvantage to battling that close, and that's causing a wreck. And that's exactly what happened there between those 2 drivers, battling hard, and unfortunately it ends in a misfortune. Go back to the action up front. Colin Bowden put it way up in the wall in turns 1 and 2. Almost lost it. Gathers it back up. It's going to lose the lead as Nick Massey goes right around him, and he will retake the lead.
clean racing right now. Hartenfeld's on the move after getting caught up in that opening caution here. Just 2 laps into this, a lot of drivers there, big-time names caught up in that one. So he's trying to make it right now, working up towards the top 5, doing a nice job in the 29.
And he's passing some drivers that have been battling side by side for quite some time, so he might technically have a little bit fresher tires, at least not as much heat in those 4 tires compared to the guys who have been out there battling hard each and every lap. And he's just picking them up and putting them down as we speak, and he gets around Chris Wright almost there. A little bit of contact, but no worse for the time being, and he will continue to make his way toward the front. And I have a feeling if this thing stays green, Austin Hartenfels will definitely be someone to reckon with. And looks like we're going to have a caution on the speedway for an incident in turn 2.
Joe Lawrence looks to be involved in this one.
Yeah, it looks like he just goes through the corner. And much like what happened to Michael Finlayson early on, back in, steps out, and goes right around off turn 2 there to bring out yet another caution. This is going to bring the field pretty close to the halfway mark, if not just a little bit past. So expect to see these guys on pit road, and could definitely change the complexion of the race.
Yeah, very tough break there, but damaged car nonetheless still for now. We are 69, just past halfway through this event, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we've got the green flag for you here.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
A comm comes over the spectrum with a job. All it says is an amount of cargo, a delicate timetable, and a risky route. You know you've got 42 cubic meters to pack full of profit. We're talking pressurized and shock-resistant construction, so whatever you put in here comes out the same way. You got 2 Arc Duo 400 engines. Their award-winning colloid ion technology gives you maximum fuel efficiency while keeping your sig low. Across a couple of pirates.
Hey, Lancer, you know the drill.
But with a weapons system featuring trusted names like Bering and Cronin, you aren't too worried.
Lancer, glass. Red tags look good. Cleared for landing at Area 18.
You're the one they come to when they need a job done right.
Back here live at Charlotte, we're getting ready for once again the green flag to drop here just this next time by. Colin Bowden, after a fantastic stop by his pit crew, has won him once again the lead, and he'll elect the inside lane for this restart. Nick Massey, who just had the lead coming in, will restart second. Got Austin Hartenfels up in third after a strong run there toward the middle portions of the race. He's going to be someone up toward the front now that could take the lead. And also Chris Wright, who's been running strong there in fourth. Those guys are your first two rows, and they will lead the field to the green here. So pace car is getting ready to pull off, and we will once again see the green flag.
Green flag back in the air. Here we go. Back to green flag racing. Colin Bowden leads him into the 1 and 2 once more. Nick Massey on his outside.
Strong run once again by that inside lane. Colin Bowden, he's been doing that all night, going way down to that white line, trying to block any run he sees from behind. And he will hold the lead with Austin Hartenfels right down his back in turns 3 and 4.
Let's see here, we're 74 laps into this race. How will these drivers manage on this restart here? Some drivers need to start moving back up through the field. Hartenfels for the first time of the night battling through that top spot. Now on the inside of that 95. Now looking to get it as well up off the corner.
So Austin Hartenfels holding strong there in that second spot. He's got plenty of challengers right behind him though. Nick Massey, Chris Wright. They are fast, and there goes Chris once again to the outside lane, trying to make something work there. Also, Joseph Tice, haven't said much about him tonight, started 20th, silently crept up into that fifth spot, I should say, right now. He's approaching the top 3, he's ever so close. Just going to have to find a way to get up there, and he too could put that car in the chance to win.
Nick Massey actually now, he's in the third for Chris Wright. Joseph Tice for the first time of the night inside the top 5.
Chris finally did get the outside lane to work, and look at this, he's going to dive it right down in there. He's possibly going to take a look to Austin Hartenfels' outside. Nothing doing there, as this all allows Colin Bowden to pull a little bit more of that lead out there, give him just a little bit more breathing room here around the track.
Round and round with the CBS 200. We're just past halfway. We've seen quite a bit of interesting things. A huge wreck at the beginning of the race. Took out some big-time points contenders. Our points leader, Byron Daly's been struggling through the night just outside the top 5, now in 7th. So lots of big names having a tough night out here, but Colin Bowden representing for Dylan Brockwell right now. Out in front of the field, he's led over 50 laps. And he's looking to continue to lead plenty more here as he wants to bring home that victory.
And what a story it really would be here tonight, not only for Colin, pretty much, but for everyone else. This car would be in victory lane on a day like this. It would be just magical, to say the least. We could sit here all day and put some adjectives to that, but nonetheless, he's going to have some tough competition behind him. Chris Wright right behind him in second, now coming with some steam. Using that outside lane, he's coming high into the turn and arcing it down and getting humongous runs down the straightaways, and he is coming in a hurry. He's using that draft as well, and he and Colin are now starting to pull away from the rest of the field as I don't really know what happened to the rest of the field as they're just kind of falling back.
Just a bundle of cars just in a huge group here from about Byron Daly and 7th onward. Issues there. contact net code between Finlayson and Alan Cryer. Both of them are going to be able to save it. That could have been huge.
Yeah, that definitely could have been another one of those wrecks like the first lap, but this time would have been on the back straightaway. But great job by those guys saving it all together. It looks like everyone's going to be just fine as this long train continues to battle.
Just taking a look right now, so many drivers just in this group. Bronson Stafford trying to make his way back up through the field. There's White's gotten through there.
I think a lot of what we're seeing out of the night of the guys running up front is just how aggressive you have to be at this racetrack. Drivers Colin Bowden, Chris Wright, they like racetracks that where you need to be aggressive on the throttle a lot and, you know, really working that car to get it to go fast. That's when they really shine, and that's why they're out there really doing a nice job out there and pretty much in the lead for both of them tonight. And they're using that to their advantage. Austin Hartenfels, Nick Massey, pretty much been great on mile and a half throughout the entire season. They're up there as well, showing that they can get it done. One of the biggest surprises, though, at least for me, is Walker Thomas up there in the 5th spot. Not really sure how he performs week in and week out on these different tracks, but tonight he's definitely showing that Charlotte's one of his better ones. He's up there in the top 5 running strong.
Of course, with 50 laps to go, let's assume we stay green. We're still going to have a pit stop here for sure out of these guys if we stay green, and that's always interesting here. So let's just see possibly some strategy to tire for a splash and get yourself to finish.
Bronson Stafford mentioned it earlier, talking about how you would almost be foolish not to take 2 tires if you may have to make a late pit stop regardless of green or yellow. So could we see someone maybe roll the dice there and try and grab some track position regardless really of these left side tires? It's kind of one of those racetracks where you can get by without really taking left sides as long as you can hang on to the car, of course. That's really the big disadvantage, is how loose you can get. But that's just going to have to be something we watch. But as this run continues to go on, we are starting to see really the dominance behind Colin Bowden's car. He continues to pull away. Chris Wright has effectively fallen off the lead and could be in danger here of losing some spots. Austin Hartenfels has crept right back up to his rear bumper. He's going to try and take a look to the inside in 1 and 2. Nothing doing there. Nick Massey's trying to go to the outside. This is going to be a pretty fierce battle here for the 2nd spot. Colin Bowden's loving this, watching them in his mirror.
Colin Bowden's got a healthy little bit of a lead here, Shane. Take a look at that.
Yeah, just over a second, and it continues to grow, at least at this point, as Colin's actually having to work around some lap traffic past J.D. Laird not too long ago. Next car, about a straightaway away, is Justin Munseal, who was caught up in a crash not too long ago. But for the time being, it's clean air, set sailing for Colin, and he's just going to have to think about any pit stop sequences that we could start to see here. If guys short pit, they're going to probably start doing it sooner or later, being that we don't have that many laps to go.
look at that also. Still, these guys just right on top of each other through the field.
And Massey almost a huge possibility there, hitting the wall, almost made contact. Chris Wright's taking a peek to the outside, and we've seen some pretty ugly situations when you take a peek to the outside and it's not there. But thankfully Nick gave them the room, and they continue to slump that back up and forth in front of each other. This is a pretty fierce battle for the second spot.
Group of 4 here just outside, inside the top 5. It's Nick Mass, Austin Hartfells, Chris Wright, Walker Thomas, as they are trying to chase back down Colin Bowden, but he's got that healthy 1.5 second lead right now, and he is not giving it up.
No, he definitely isn't, as Jacob Adams has a little bit of moment out of the back straightaway. Gets loses a couple spots, but he gathers it back up, and we stay green. Surprisingly, back to the race for the lead, despite all that battling for the top 2. Now that Nick Mass has made his way through everyone else, really haven't seen that big of a lead grown by Colin. It's still a healthy lead, but it's definitely topped off at what it's been.
Let's throw it CFI side by side for the final time here tonight, and when we come back, we'll see how we look as we approach possible pit stops.
So I was looking at the new Aurora, but then I was thinking, maybe I should get something that looks a little classy. But then I was like, no, I need something that can pull some serious weight. Maybe I don't need all that cargo space. What about the Legionnaire? Now we're talking. How about some bigger guns? Little bigger. No, little bigger. There you go. And maybe some rockets, too. Actually, I should probably upgrade the power plant. I did like the leather seats on that LX, though. Yeah, perfect. All right, let's see what this baby can do. Cargo.
RSI's Aurora. There are many like it, but this one is yours.
Welcome back here live. Let's take a look at what we need to talk about here as we have 33 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the CBS 200. Colin Bowden, he's leading it, and he's representing a friend, teammate of pretty much everyone here on iRacing, whether it be literal or not. He's out here right now. He's led 74 laps here tonight, and he wants to bring home victory lane. Shane, you've got the story now.
Yeah, definitely Colin Bowden. Here is friend Dylan Brockwell passing away here today in a tragic medical procedure accident. Really has stunned the iRacing community, and he's out there supporting Dylan's colors in the black car here tonight. Is dominated, pretty much carrying. You could say something is with him tonight for sure. He's carrying the spirit. As now he comes down pit road. Could be the start of green flag pit stops here. Oh, so key for Colin here to come on to the pits here, have a clean stop, and not see a caution.
Yes, the next 10 to 15 laps, they will determine whether he will be able to come away victorious or not. He needs to have a perfect pit. We'll take a look at it right now.
Right side tires going on. Looks to be pretty routine here. Crew swing around to the left side. 4 tires in fuel here to make it to the end. Should easily be able to make it to the end from here for Colin. He's away. Make sure he doesn't speed. Everything looks good, and he will rejoin the racing surface, as this could force some other drivers to pit road as well.
Now Walker Thomas will assimilate to the lead here for the time being. Austin Hartfell's peeled down for pit road last time by. Walker Thomas will get his second lap led. Here comes lots of drivers heading down pit road. Pit stops have begun.
As Nick Massey and it's also Michael Finlayson in the background making their way down to pit road. Walker Thomas has assumed the lead, but those guys know you can't stay out as long as you really can at this point. You've lost 2 seconds now in the total lap fall off, and here comes Walker to the pit lane, and he will surrender the lead to Chris Wright. Can't stay out there on old tires because the guys on new tires could be gaining more than 2 seconds, and that's going to equate to big gains obviously in the racetrack when it's all said and done.
Now we look to Chris Wright as he's staying out right now with 28 laps to go, hoping for a caution.
And with the speed we've seen that Colin Bowden has had tonight, this would be a call on Chris Wright's part to stay out late and just kind of run that fuel tank drive regardless of the tire fall off. He's not going to really worry about that. He's going to worry about catching a caution at the right time and perhaps even trapping Colin a lap down. Colin's actually creeping up on him here to possibly get his lap back, and he will there on the inside lane. But still, this could be a big call for Chris. Gets a caution at any point before he pits, and he's going to be the leader.
Colin Bowden, the good news is, no matter what happens at this point, he is on the lead lap. So if a caution does come out, he's still not in a bad spot, just not as good of a spot as he would have been.
Yeah, we could play out about 1,000 scenarios that could happen right now, but the time being, there are 7 cars on the lead lap. Colin Bowden is the only one on the lead lap that has made his way down pit road, and we'll start to see other drivers unlap themselves as Chris Wright stays out on old tires, getting up just over 2 seconds. It's basically 2.5 seconds now of fall off that we're seeing on Chris's tires, so he's losing a lot of ground out there, just kind of trying to soldier around and hope for a caution, possibly steal away the win.
Chris Wright still staying out right now. We've only got about 5-6 cars that have stayed out.
And they haven't pit at this point are in it until the fuel runs out. And that is Chris Wright, Jacob Adams, Bronson Stafford, Jamie Haley, Joseph Tice, and Michael Thompson. The 6 drivers still out there on the old tires, just kind of riding around, hoping for a caution if it comes at any point. And with as many laps it's actually starting to get interesting to look at the lap times and see how much the likes of Colin Bowden, Byron Daly, and everyone else on those fresher tires is clicking away off your leaders. And so far they've chopped well over 7 seconds into that lead of Chris's, and actually last time by over 1.5 seconds by Colin Bowden. He was able to chop off of Chris Wright's lead. It's down to just about 22 seconds. And with just over 20 laps to go, if he keeps that pace up, he should get there.
Laps, now 20 to go here at Charlotte for the CBS 200.
And if there's anyone driving like Adman out there, you would have to think it's that 89 of Colin Bowden. So much on his shoulders tonight, and what could be more relieving, I would say, than getting behind the wheel of a race car, going out there, doing the best you can to win it, not only for yourself, but for someone else, and really the entire community, as he is down the back straightaway, just 18 seconds away from the lead, Chris Wright. But you have to remember, those guys, they're going to have to come down pit road eventually. And if they don't choose to come down pit road, at least slow down their pace to make it on fuel. So basically, it is all luck that they are trying at right now.
Yeah, luck is exactly what they are riding on, and they know all that they can get. Colin Bowden's in 6th position, and I mean, it's the development story. We've got drivers like still out there, Bronson Stafford. He's racing right now with a couple of guys right there. Jacob Adams is right in front of him. They're all still staying out. Joseph Tice as well, Jamie Haley, Chris Wright. They have to come down in the next 6 to 7 laps, or they will be out of fuel here. What are they going to do? I mean, it's all contact. There goes the 19 of Adams down on the inside. Will this prompt a caution? He's going to come up towards the track. He's going to keep it down there. No caution.
And he might have had some contact, Ryan Dyson. I don't know if we'll get a look at that or not, but even that slight contact could force him around, and he clobbered that inside wall.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the replay there. This number 19, of course, is on old tires, and that 28 just comes up behind him flying, clips him in the right rear, and sends him right to that inside wall. Very frustrated Jacob Adams is right now.
And that is unfortunately the risk take out there on old tires. The speed difference is so great. It has to be almost 10 miles an hour in the corners. Almost dangerous, you're talking there, to even attempt to race that, because if they're coming at you so fast, if you're a car on tires, and there just not enough time for Ryan to react, gets into the back of Jacob, and unfortunately sends him into the inside wall, and perhaps to the garage in the closing stages of this race. But nonetheless, those drivers out there remain still on the racetrack, still buying time, hoping for that caution. Colin Bowden is up to the 4th spot. He is now within 8 seconds of your leader, Chris Wright, and he's coming up quickly in the 3rd place car, Jamie Haley. go to the outside here, and he will go right around him here to take over that third spot. Next car in line is about 3 seconds in front of him, and that would be Bronson Stafford, who's also out there trying to make it on fuel, or at least buy some time and hope for a caution. He's out there just kind of limping it around. These guys already into the 31-second bracket, and Colin Bowden's lap last time by a 29.6, so tons of time being lost on those old tires.
And now it's just a 6-second gap between Bowden and the leaders. And he is hauling the mail. He's about to get to Bronson Stafford here as the connection issues with the server just continue on. But let's just keep our eyes on this, because I think Colin Bowden might even be able to get to the leader before he even has to come down pit road. They've still got about 4 or 5 laps of fuel.
And it's just going to be interesting, really, how long these guys can make it. It could end up being a situation where we put a number and say, all right, this is how many laps of fuel we think they have left, but somehow they squeeze out a couple more, and that could even be up to 5 laps more than we expect. All depends on how these guys have been driving, if they've been saving it all at this run. I don't really think they would be. To be up toward the front, Chris Wright at one point was battling for the lead on this green flag run. So you can't think he's been saving it all throughout this entire run, just trying to hang on, but it's now under 4 seconds, and I think Colin Bowden...
3 seconds is what the gap is at now. Now the gap is down to just over 1 second with 9 laps to go. Taking a look, Chris Wright, there should be no way he should be able to stay out more than 1 to 2 more laps here. I mean, he already should be out of fuel, taking a look at the numbers, but Shane, he's still out there, still going. This story still developing is what we've got on the screen here, is with Bowden. 7 laps remain, that gap is gone. He's back in the lead here, and he did so all with driving, and beautiful job out of this number 89. He's got 1.7 seconds over Byron Daly, so he's got room to wiggle with 7 laps to go here. Down the back straightaway, once more underneath some lap down traffic. JD Laird damage number 23. Gap now, though, under 1 second, 0.7 seconds between Bowden and Daly. The gap is closing here, and closing quickly. We're only going to have 3 laps to go, and Byron Daly's at half of a second here. This is going to be the battle that we need to watch here. This could be huge for these guys up here for multiple reasons. Byron Daly being the points leader, but Colin Bowden racing for something more than points right now. Up off the corner, look at the run that Byron Daly gets. He's going to drag it up now. He's picked it up down the straightaway here into 3 and 4. This is crucial. These final moments of this race are crucial for both of these guys for many different reasons. The gap maintains through 3 and 4, exactly the same as it was upon entry. Colin Bowden wants a caution. He wants it real bad right now as Byron Daly gets a little bit closer here. He's going to pick up just a little bit of draft, probably being able to rocket through the corner here. He's got the run. Will he be able to go anywhere? Colin Bowden makes the block low. Here comes Byron Daly low, right on Colin Bowden's bumper. He's going to give him the bump and run a little bit there, and that's going to actually work against him there. The 93 gets loose. He's going to save it. Across the line, white flag. And he's got plenty of room behind him there. 0.2 seconds, but he gets a little bit squiggly through the middle of the corner. That's going to give Daly one last run at it here. This is the run for the money. Into 3 and 4 for the final time of the night. Big bump out of Byron Daly. He's going to give him a shove up off the corner. Side by side, they're both going to hit the wall, and Colin Bowden's going to come across the stripe to win the race. What a defense out of Bowden there. Absolutely incredible job out of Colin Bowden there to defend against bump. I mean, I don't even know what else to call it other than attempted bumps and runs. Let's go back one more time. Look at that final lap coming up off the corner there, down the back straightaway. This is where Byron Daly gets the run into the corner, makes a huge dive, one bump to the back bumper. Here comes another, and then they collect into the outside wall collectively, and that shoves him off, and he's able to cross the stripe in first. And this victory for Colin Bowden means so much, not only for Bowden, but for many members of the iRacing community. Absolutely incredible job out of Colin Bowden here. Unfortunately, he's not in here to get me ring in with him, but there's other drivers to talk to, of course, and it's just absolutely incredible night here from the Speedway. Shane, take us through your perspective of those final laps.
Definitely had some mic issues. Unfortunately, couldn't be calling that, but what I saw, was able to witness at the end there. That's some of the best driving I've seen on this service in a long time for Colin Bowden. You have to bet that was 110% adrenaline, going for what he's up against. Obviously racing for his late friend, and up here not only for that, but for the win here at Charlotte on CFI. What a job Colin did. He's going to hang his head high, I think, after tonight and understand he did what he could out there on the racetrack to honor what he was racing for.
And he drove as a man possessed out there to get this victory, and that's what it's all about. I'm going to catch up with one of the drivers that we didn't get to talk to very much, Bronson Stafford. Well, Bronson, you didn't get exactly what you wanted out of the finish there. Unfortunately for you, well outside the top 10, actually 21st it's showing me. That might not be correct. Take us through the night, but talk about just how the racing was out there in general.
Well, I don't know. Kind of screwed up Q. Started like 16th, I think, something like that. and it was, I don't know, the first lap incident, had to avoid that. But it was honestly the first few laps were full throttle. We didn't think exactly how good the race was going to be, but you get 10, 20 laps in, the tires fall away, and I kind of had the one run before we finished this whole race under green. I fell off, I think, like 5 or 7 seconds or whatever off the field, and just before the caution came out, I was getting a guy from third position to give me his lap times, and I was over half a second quicker every lap, and I was like, man, why can't we just stay green? And then yellow came out, so just kind of came out, picked up spots, running top 10. I had enough fuel to make it, so I was like, I'm just going to, stay out, run it to the end there, and the quicker guys think they can just run you over, and you get plowed, and, I thought of anything, Austin Hartenfeld, of all people, is a bit better than I still like the guy. He's fun to race with, but he literally ran me over off of 4 and said it was my fault when it's kind of his job to pass me. So, I don't know. And it's disappointing. Flip upside down, no yellow. So, just kind of is what it is. Seems to be my luck on these things,
Unfortunately, that's how it seems to go a lot of the time out there. But as a whole for the night, we're halfway through the season. How do you feel going into the second half, pretty much?
I think after a month and a half off, I think I can show I can still handle a race car. So I think that's pretty good. Start making these things, just try and finish good and prep up for next season. We got some things coming back. Shane will be back. I think we're actually looking at trying to figure everything out. And gone for a month and a half and was still up there running top 10. And at some point, racing with leaders and had a strategy, but just doesn't come together at the end of these things.
All right, Bronson, thanks for coming up here to talk to us. We will definitely catch you next time.
Yep, thank you.
Well, Shane, that wraps up an incredible night here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Big night for our winner, Colin Bowden. Goes home with a heavy heart, but goes home feeling like he carried that heavy heart very well here tonight from Charlotte for the CBS 200. Final thoughts before we head off?
Well, I think definitely this was definitely a huge night for Colin, for the racing community, and basically for anyone else who had associations with Dylan Brockwell here. What a tragic story it all ended up to be, but I think it was a silver lining tonight to see Colin Bowden in his colors out there running a race, pretty much one of the best races I've seen him run since we've covered the UpperEdge Racing League, and he went out there, dominated, kept the car clean, did everything he needed to do to win at Charlotte, and came away with it. It was just, it's going to be a night to remember for sure.
All right, well, for everybody here at Checkered Flag Interactive, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.